Hi there. I'm back again in the studio. I've been in the studio several days this week, um, working on different projects. Uh, but I'm back to working on this larger piece. I probably showed it to you at the beginning of the week. Just started this week. And I'm trying to decide where I'm placing colors and what colors I might use besides the colors I've already used. Um, a lot of the pieces that I do, I choose to do a limited palette, 3, 4 colors, maybe 5. But on this one, I haven't made a decision yet, but I'm going to start laying down some more color, fill in the areas that I know that I want to use a certain color in. So anyway, I'm going to work away a little bit and probably talk a little bit, see where it takes us. Again, on this particular piece, I'm using a color called Burnt Sienna. One of the colors, Raw Sienna. Of course, black and gold. And the gray was just a primer, but I'm kind of liking the gray. So I may go over the gray with a slightly different shade of gray. But we'll see. So most of you who know me know that my father was a painter. He was a still life and landscape artist. So I grew up with watching my father paint in his little basement studio. I'm in a basement studio too. A little bit of a different basement studio. He had one little light over his head. He had an easel that was God knows how many years old, and he had his oil paints. And he would go down there and paint, and I'd sneak down sometimes and sit behind him and watch him paint. So painting has been in my life, forever. I don't really know what made me decide to go to college for painting. It wasn't something that, well, let's just say I didn't sit and draw when I was a kid. Probably didn't even color much as a kid. But I wanted to go to college, not because I needed a job or a degree to make money. I just wanted to go for myself to experience college. And I did do a little stint at Parsons and FIT in the city. Forget I grew up in the 70s. Fashion designers were celebrities, Halston and Calvin Klein. And I thought that that's what I wanted to be involved in. But it turned out that, particularly at that time, very superficial industry. And quite frankly, I didn't like a lot of the people that I met in that industry at the time. I don't know if it's changed or how it is nowadays. But it just didn't suit my personality. But I still wanted to go back to school And I decided to start painting a little bit, doing some collages, doing certain things, and I was enjoying it. So I just decided to go to school for art. And I loved it. I loved college. I loved learning. I loved being in the academic environment. So much so that I stayed longer than I should have. I forget what it was. I think you had to have 127 credits to graduate. I think I had well over that. I kept taking classes. So that's how I got where I am today. And the interesting thing is after I graduated, I never really picked up a paintbrush for years. Occasionally I would do a little something. I would get the urge and do something, but nothing really earnest to any degree. I love the richness of these colors together, the combination. I hope you guys are hearing me well. I know I was told with my other cell phone that people were having a hard time hearing me, so I'm trying to talk a little louder, and I hope that this new phone that I have has a better mic on it. But I am getting an external mic, a directional mic. I decided to return the vlogging camera that I bought. Not easy to use, and quite frankly I think the camera on my phone probably gets a better picture than this vlogging camera did, but I decided to get an external mic to make it a little bit better. I posted a very short video just a few minutes ago from the other day because I started some smaller pieces in a very different technique than what I'm doing now, and I'm sure it's been posted on my Raymond Vag art page, and I usually post it to my Facebook page too. But I use very little brushwork in those pieces that I'm starting, and I'll show them to you in a few minutes. I actually use tiling tools. These are the tools that I use for the base colors on those pieces. One's got a serrated edge, an even edge. And I actually enjoy doing those pieces. They're much more freeing. This is hard edged painting. I've got to pay attention to what I'm doing a little bit more. The line in these is extremely important to me, getting that line as crisp as I possibly can. I don't necessarily want it to be perfect because I want my work to reflect that there was a hand that did it, not a machine. There are some artists that are very adept at making things look like they were made by a machine, and that's their thing. I enjoy seeing the hand of the artist in whatever I'm looking at. It was interesting, I was watching a video on YouTube about Jackson Pollock, and yeah, actually the video is called "Who the Blank is Jackson Pollock?" This woman, a trucker, found a painting in a thrift store somewhere that she paid $5 for, and there are mounting beliefs that it is actually Jackson Pollock. The art world seems to be rejecting the idea that it is, but forensic information is confirming that it was done by his hand. They actually found fingerprints. Now they've actually found more than one fingerprint on the canvas that belonged to him. So you know, I was just thinking to myself, well, that's good, because I want to know that the artist had a hand in doing whatever it was. Apparently he actually painted with his fingers sometimes. I don't want to call it finger painting, a Pollock, but I guess he moved paint around with his hands. If you ever really want to kind of get some information on contemporary artists and art, there's so much on YouTube out there, and famous artists, Kandinsky, Pollock, all these different artists, and why and how they did what they did, what made their work so special, what made their work so famous. Kandinsky is somebody that I really relate to. You know, they said my work comes from a deeper place. I get visions of shapes and colors, and I run with those visions, and then I allow them to lead me. And Kandinsky talked about the spiritual in art. He actually wrote a book, The Spiritual in Art, and that all art comes from a deeper place. And the connection that the artist has with it is one connection, but it is also the connection that the viewer has with it. So I am going to step back from this, take a look at what's happening. I know you probably can't get a good shot of that. Maybe I can bring the camera over a little bit, see it a little bit better. It's hard to tell with all the other things going on there, but I'm getting a vision of what's going on. And I like it. So these are the other pieces that I started this week that I did the short video on. I had laid the background colors. The gold was the background color on this, the secondary color that was placed on this after the gold was dried. Green. On this one, it was a silver background, and then this beautiful purple, which I absolutely love, went on top. And then this was this cerulean blue, which again, I just love that color, and the black. Where these go from here, I'm not quite sure. They're going to be limited palettes. There'll be the blue and the black on that one, and I don't know what else I'll add to that. I also use acrylic pens, and I can show you on another piece. You can see this. It's kind of hard to see the light sometimes, but see these lines are all done with acrylic pen. And these shapes, these are stencils that I cut out, either the positive or the negative. So this is a positive, and this is a negative over here. So this is a hole that I spray through, and this is the piece that I've cut out from the triangle. Here's the positive, here's the negative. So this is the outside of that piece, the inside of that piece. And I use an atomizer on these. It's a little tool that you dip into paint. I use acrylic liquid paints. Sometimes I use India inks. And I actually spray this spray over it. Of course, I concentrated in these areas that I wanted, whether light or darker. But so these pieces will be similar. I'm sure there'll be some brush strokes in there also. I'll pick up a brush at some point. Yeah. So I got a lot of work ahead of me. I'm trying. This is the piece that I created last year for the Bedford, Virginia's first Gay Pride piece. I'm trying to see if there are other Pride organizations that may be interested in showing it in a group show this year. We'll see. It's here. If you'd like to know more about that, it is on my Facebook page, and my artist statement on that is there. And my statement, my I don't say it's a statement, but my little story about my father and his artwork and how it influenced me, that's on there too. So I'm going to keep working, and I will update you on what's going on with these pieces. If anybody has any questions, you know what to do. Like my page, please, my YouTube page, and my Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.